Hey, what is up everyone? Welcome back to another video on Python for Ethical Hackers. So if you are following along our course, we are in the second section of this course in which we are in the process of creating our own algorithm or designing our own algorithm for our MacChanger program. So as discussed in the previous video, we will divide our main problem, which is checking if the MAC address was really changed into different small problems and then solve each problem separately. So as talked in the previous video, the first step would be to execute and check the ifconfig command, and then the second step would be read the MAC address from the output and then check the MAC address using the ifconfig if the MAC address was really changed, and then print the appropriate message. So the first step would be to execute and read the output. So in this video, we'll discuss how to execute and read output. So let's hop over to Kali Linux and let's check out this is the code we wrote down in our previous video. If you're not following along, I would highly recommend you to follow the course, go back and watch the previous videos first and then come back later. But if you're not willing to, you can just copy and paste this code and then continue along with us from here. So the first thing would be for this video to comment down this change MAC address function. So as soon as I comment down this function, the change MAC address function, I will come over to the terminal and try to run Python example.py and then give it an interface, which would be eth0 and then the MAC address as 001122334455 and press enter. You can see that nothing is happening. It's because we have commented down the main function that was doing everything, or that was printing everything to the screen. So what I'm really willing to do right over here is to read the output of ifconfig. Like whenever I come over here and change the MAC address right over here, once the MAC address gets changed, I just run the ifconfig after that. Instead of directly printing it out to the screen or to the console, I want to read this output and get the MAC address or get the values from it in my code or in my program. I can do that by coming over to this official documentation of the subprocess, and I can search for check output. You can see that we do have this function check output, which reads the output of the of certain command ran on the terminal. So how it's done is right over here. You can see that you can write subprocess.check output and then give it a command and then its output, read its output. So how can we do that? We can just come over to our code, and right beneath the function that we just commented down, I can write subprocess.check_output, and in the command I can provide ifconfig. So the second option would be this interface. So how am I getting the interface? I'm getting the interface from this option by writing the options.interface. So that would be options.interface. And if I save the program and then come back over and result, or we can say that ifconfig result is stored in this variable. So what this command is doing, it will run the ifconfig and return the result, and that will be stored in the ifconfig results. Once that gets stored right over here, so we can just print out this ifconfig results right in the Python. So I'll save everything, come back to the terminal, come back to the terminal and run python example.py with everything. So it's showing me an error. Okay, so it's giving us an error, and it's because we do have to provide it as an array and not a single command. So let's make it an array by putting the square brackets and then save the program, come back and run the program again, and indeed you can see that everything is okay. So what we did in this video was we commented down this change MAC address function in order to stop everything, and then what we were willing to achieve was to read the results coming from the ifconfig. So how we did that was using this subprocess check output. We provided the ifconfig and then the interface that we wanted to check. So what we were willing to do was to run the ifconfig command and then grab the options echoed on the terminal for this options interface. Once we grabbed that, we stored that into the ifconfig result variable, and then we printed that ifconfig results variable to the screen, and you can see its result right over here on the screen. If I come over here, right over here and put hash in front of this print statement and then run the program, you would see that it will show nothing, but I have to first save the program and then run it. You can see that it shows nothing but just a number echoed to the screen. So this is pretty much it for this video. I hope you are learning this new concept that we are willing to work with. So our main objective for this video was to sort the first problem out, which was to execute and read the ifconfig. Our main objective was this. Just to remind you, we are working with the second section of this course, which is creating our own simple algorithm for changing the MAC address. And the algorithm is indeed dividing a bigger problem into into a number of different small problems, which includes for us. So the bigger problem for us was to check if the MAC address was really changed, and then so for checking that, we'll first execute and read the ifconfig, then we'll read the MAC address from output, then we'll check if the MAC in the ifconfig is what the user requested, and then we'll print the appropriate message. So this is pretty much it for this video. I hope you are learning a lot. If you are, press that like button. It's right over here below the video. If you do have some questions in your mind, do leave it down in the comment section below. If you have anything else in your mind, let me know. Until next time, stay cheeky breeky, enjoy hacking, peace out.